In a major development, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent indicated that the 25% tariff imposed on Indian goods could be lifted. Speaking to Politico during the World Economic Forum in Davos, Bessent highlighted the possibility of reducing trade tariffs, signaling a potential boost in U.S.-India economic ties.
We put 25% tariffs on India for buying Russian oil, and the Indian purchases by their refineries of Russian oil have collapsed. So that is a success. The tariffs are still on. The 25% Russian oil tariffs are still on. I would imagine that there is a path to take them off. So, that's a check and a huge success. I will also point out that our virtue-signaling European allies refused to do it because they wanted to sign this big trade deal with India. And just to be clear, let's understand what's happening. Before the Ukraine invasion, approximately 2 or 3% of Indian oil that went into their refineries came from Russia. The oil was sanctioned, it got deeply discounted, and it moved up into the high teens, 17, 18, 19% being refined. Huge profits for the refiners. But in the ultimate act of irony and stupidity, guess who was buying the refined products from the Indian refineries made from Russian oil? The Europeans. They were financing the war against themselves. They were financing the Russians.
At present, India continues to face a total of 50% tariffs imposed by the Trump administration. Initially, the U.S. levied 25% tariffs on Indian goods and later added an additional 25% in response to Russian oil purchases, significantly impacting bilateral trade. Bessent noted that the U.S. had imposed an additional 25% tariff on India in response to its purchases of Russian oil has now collapsed. Calling this outcome a success, Secretary Bessent indicated that it is now possible to imagine a path toward removing the 25% tariffs, potentially easing trade tussle between the two nations. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump praised Prime Minister Modi, calling him a close friend and respected leader. He also highlighted that India and the U.S. are going to have a good deal, signaling optimism about strengthened trade and diplomatic ties between the two countries.